Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
We do have a WRAL weather alert day for tomorrow with a level 1 risk for severe storms across parts of the viewing area. I'll show you what time the storms will move across our area.
And breaking news in the last 90 minutes, Raleigh police named the 2 people killed in an ATV crash. The charges against a driver linked to it all as well.
And there's a new way to get the Las Vegas experience, just a 90-minute drive from Raleigh. A closer look at the new casino opening today just over the Virginia border. We'll take you to that look in Danville coming up in just a few minutes. They're pretty exciting stuff. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. That is pretty exciting. Yeah. I mean, people like to go and gamble a little bit.
A little fun.
Yeah, have a little fun. So. All right, we'll get to that story in just a minute. But first, we have to talk about the weather out there. A little cloudy, but today's not the day we're watching for. It's tomorrow. Tomorrow, we could see those showers.
Yeah, Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now with our current look in Durham.
And we have a live look at downtown Durham right now, and you can see a good bit of cloud cover. Earlier this morning, there were a few more holes in the clouds, but as we get closer and closer to lunchtime, we're going to see more of the cloud cover. Our wind is out of the northeast right now with a temperature at 65 in the Triangle. It's 61 in Roxborough, 57 in South Hill, but starting to see those temperatures creep up. It's not going to be a very fast jump to the warmer temperatures today because of all the clouds that we'll end up seeing. We'll only climb into the low 70s at lunchtime, and we'll be in the mid 70s for highs this afternoon. Starting around 4 or 5 o'clock, we could see an isolated shower. Not likely to see a whole lot of rain for today. And of course, tomorrow we have that level 1 risk of severe storms, mainly along and north of I-85. But even if you're not in that shaded area, we're going to see the line of thunderstorms crossing the viewing area. You're still going to see some heavy rain and some strong gusty winds. We'll kick things off tomorrow morning with a few isolated showers, and that's likely in our northern counties. And then once we get closer to mid-afternoon, watch that line of thunderstorms moving closer to us between 3 and 4. At 5 o'clock, it's sitting right here closer to the I-95 corridor, and then it moves on out by the time we get to, say, 7 or 8 o'clock. After that, we have some pretty nice weather to look forward to until the weekend. I'll show you when we could see more showers coming up, Brian.
8:02 right now, and we have a crash in Holly Springs we've been following this morning at Main Street at Earp Street. It's a minor crash, and we've been noticing some delay showing up on some sensors. The most recent update not indicating any big backups there, but still something to keep in mind as they work to get that crash cleared. Also over on the east side of Raleigh, watch for a crash. Again, a minor one on Old Mill Burney Road, just north of the New Bern Avenue area, heading out toward 540. Looking around the rest of the Triangle, a little bit of a lingering backup on 40 eastbound heading away from Hillsborough down toward the New Hope Church Road exit. That's from an earlier crash that has cleared, but we're still seeing a little bit of a backup through there. On the Durham Freeway, 885, both directions a little slow right now between I-40 and the 147 split, but I-40 through South Durham is looking just fine. And around Raleigh right now, a little bit of a backup there on the Beltline on 440 westbound, which is typical for this point in the morning commute between 87 and Capitol Boulevard. You're going to run into a little bit of brake tapping. Coming in from Knightdale, looking better on 87 southbound, about a 4-minute delay there from 64 Business to 440, and out of Wake Forest on southbound Capitol Boulevard, looking at about a 6-minute backup.
Thank you, Brian. Today, North Carolina business owners will speak against an effort to restrict abortions in our state. This as Republicans look to cement that effort into law as soon as this week. And WRAL's Naya Hardin is live in Raleigh with the big battle shaping up over the issue. Naya.
Yeah, this morning a handful of businesses at least are going to be representing the Raleigh area. They are saying no when it comes to those abortion bill rights that are changing. Owners like Ashley Christensen and David Meeker from Trophy Brewing have launched a petition for businesses against Senate Bill 20. This morning they will hold a news conference to talk about the economic impacts of the abortion restrictions. Over the weekend, Governor Cooper participated in a rally saying he rejected the bill. The veto was signed at the rally. The bill would reduce the cutoff for many abortions from 20 weeks to 12 and add several other restrictions. Supporters say the bill will save lives. Cooper calling the bill dangerous. State Republicans have a supermajority in the House and Senate. A vote to override the veto is expected to happen this week. And businesses will be meeting here at Trophy Brewing at 10 o'clock this morning. Naya Hardin, WRAL News in Raleigh.
Breaking news in just the last 90 minutes. We have learned the names of 2 people who were killed in an ATV crash in Raleigh. Police say 36-year-old Kevin Epps and 18-year-old Jaya Jackson were riding in the ATV when they crashed into a car. They were not wearing safety helmets at the time, and the crash happened on Pool Road right near Rush Street. This was about 7 o'clock last night. Police say 24-year-old Taylor Williams was driving the car and didn't stop at a stop sign. He got a ticket for that and 2 counts of misdemeanor death by motor vehicle. This week is National Police Week, and Wake County will remember its fallen officers in an event this morning. 23 local officers killed in the line of duty will be honored today, some with service spanning as far back as 1922. These are pictures from a previous year. The law enforcement officer memorial ceremony starts at 10 at the Martin Marietta Center for the Performing Arts.
A Las Vegas-style casino opens today, just a short drive from the Triangle. The flashing lights and screens of more than 700 slot machines are coming to Caesars, Virginia. That's just across the state line in Danville. It's about an hour-and-a-half drive from Raleigh. The casino opens inside a massive tent on the site of a future $650 million resort and is expected to draw a lot of visitors from our area.
Everything right now has been speculation, but we're really looking forward to seeing the demand that this business will drive and the customers and where they'll come from.
And it's estimated 30% of traffic heading to the casino will come from the Triangle. The bigger resort is expected to open next year.
This morning, students in Durham Public Schools will take a moment to reflect on children who have died from gun violence. It's being called a day of remembrance. WRAL's Laura Levine shows us this new piece of a much larger effort.
I'm here in the heart of downtown Durham, where this very important message will be on full display today. A school board member tells me they want to show students impacted by gun violence there is a community who cares about them, who cares about change, and cares about protecting them. So at 10 o'clock this morning, they're calling on the community to take this moment of silence. 18 people under the age of 18 have been shot in Durham so far this year, and 4 of them have died. You're looking at Sky 5 video from the tragic shooting near Hillside High School earlier this year. City, county, and school leaders are coming together to show a commitment to safety and wellness. School board member Javanya Lewis organized this event with a goal to provide youth with more positive lifestyle opportunities, including job training, employment, and extracurricular activities.
We are teaching wellness skills throughout Durham in this moment of silence, remembering those impacted by violence. This is not the beginning, nor is this the end. There's more work that we have to do as a community.
And at 5:30 this afternoon, city and county leaders will gather here near the Bull in downtown Durham for speeches, spoken word by students, and a reading of a resolution. Laura Levine, WRAL News in Durham.
Recession fears are growing this morning as the debt ceiling deadline looms. This is a live look at the U.S. Capitol this morning, as it'll be a week of action in Washington. President Joe Biden is set to meet with top congressional leaders tomorrow to discuss a way to move forward. This meeting was originally set for last Friday, but was postponed. On Sunday, sources close to the matter said that Biden had a productive meeting with his staff over the weekend about the U.S. debt ceiling.
The only thing that can solve our problems now is for Congress to lift the debt limit, which they've done, by the way, 78 times. And in the last administration, they did 3 times without negotiation.
If a deal is not reached and the U.S. defaults on its debt, it could have a ripple effect on businesses, the housing market, even job cuts. Economic analysts warn a recession is likely to come sometime during the second half of the year. The U.S. could default on its debt as early as June 1st.
8:09 the time right now on your Monday morning. Still ahead, a teenager shares her harrowing story of being attacked by a shark.
I just remember seeing its head come up and bite me in the stomach.
How she said she managed to survive.
Plus, a heads up for those of you still paying off those student loans, when payments are now expected to restart after a several-year-long pause.
Tomorrow is a WRAL weather alert day. We'll have a line of thunderstorms that comes through mid to late afternoon, and I'll walk you through the timeline coming up.
12 minutes after 8 on your Monday morning. Beautiful blue skies down in the Sand Hills. Live look in Southern Pines at the Longleaf Golf and Family Club. That is just gorgeous. Folks out there on the greens right there looking straight down the 9th fairway. And Elizabeth Gardner is right across the studio from me in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at what is ahead with this weather alert day tomorrow.
Tomorrow, we're going to end up starting off with a few light showers, but of course the issues will begin mid-afternoon and continue into the evening. Between 3 and 8 o'clock, we'll see a line of thunderstorms that starts in the west and slides eastward. The biggest threat will be winds gusting to 60 miles per hour or stronger that could topple a tree or two. And of course, with some heavy rain during the evening commute, there could be some folks that end up hydroplaning. So, of course, you need to be watching out for that. We do have a level 1 risk for severe storms in our northwestern counties, about 7 of them. Most of this is going to be along and north of I-85. But even if you're not in the shaded area, you're still going to see this line of thunderstorms coming through. Still going to see gusty winds and some heavy rain with this. Here's a look at the big picture right now. We're going to start to see our cold front developing. You can see it here toward the end of the loop. This low pressure system, warm front lifts northward, and then there's the cold front moving across Texas. That's what arrives here for tomorrow afternoon. We take a look at Futurecast today, and we're seeing a little bit of sunshine. By lunchtime, it all fills in with clouds, and by 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, there could be an isolated shower. Most of us are not going to see that, but definitely worth a mention. An isolated shower overnight, and definitely tomorrow morning, especially in our northern counties. There's 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, there's 10 o'clock, and then there's noon. And then we begin to pick up this line of thunderstorms. This is going to be about 3:30, 3:45 in the afternoon. It starts to form up to our west, slides eastward right through the evening commute. There's 5 o'clock right up and down I-95, and then by 7 or 8, it slides on out. There could be another round that starts to develop around 10 or 11 and slips southward across the viewing area. So we're going to end up seeing the best chance of severe storms in the mid-afternoon into the evening. And watch here, look at the green shaded area. That's where we have the best storm energy, or where we'll have the best chance of seeing some wind damage. Notice that slides eastward by 6 or 7 o'clock, and then that's going to be, again, the biggest time span threat. Okay, how much rainfall are we going to see both tomorrow and into the weekend? I just went ahead and added Sunday to this. So overall for the week, we'll likely see at least an inch, maybe an inch and a half, maybe even a little bit more than that in some places. So looking at the potential for some heavy rain tomorrow, weather alert day. And then over the weekend, the timing is looking a bit tricky. The models are not in complete agreement on exactly what pattern develops for the weekend, but it definitely looks like we have the potential at least for some showers, especially Saturday. Brian?
8:15 on the dot as we take a look at traffic. Just getting reports of a crash on the north side of Durham on Duke Street near Carver Street. Seeing a little bit of a delay showing up on the sensors there, but I don't think it's bad enough to consider using Roxborough Street as an alternate route at this point. Taking a look at our overall approaches into Durham, we're seeing about a 1-minute delay on that southbound side of Duke Street heading down toward I-85. Out of Hillsborough on 85 northbound, we're looking fine, but 40 eastbound, you could run into a little bit of a problem there as you approach the New Hope Church Road interchange. There was an earlier crash. There may still be some activity on the shoulder. We're not seeing big backups, just something you want to keep in mind. And you can see those backups in both directions of 885 this morning between I-40 and 147, which is typical for this point in the morning commute. Around the rest of Raleigh, some backups on 540 westbound between the Lewisburg Road and Capitol Boulevard interchange. That also pretty common for this point in our commute. Just had a crash pop up here with a live update there on the north side of Raleigh. We'll get a pinpoint for you on that one coming up in just a few minutes. Also look out for some backups on 440 westbound approaching Capitol Boulevard. Zooming into Holly Springs, you may still see some activity out at the intersection of Main Street and Earp Street from an earlier crash, but sensors right now are not looking so bad through the central part of Holly Springs.
We have new information this morning about a shooting that left a person dead in Cumberland County. Investigators say the sheriff's office is trying to find a man and woman for questioning in the case. They are 40-year-old Tiffany Hines and 48-year-old Willie Bristol. Both are from Fayetteville. Deputies responded to a shooting on Tremilla Drive shortly before 12:30 in the morning Sunday. They found 31-year-old Shaniqua Colvin, also of Fayetteville, dead at that scene. So far, investigators have not said anything about possible charges.
A tractor-trailer driver is dead after a fiery crash in Nash County. Take a look at this video a WRAL viewer sent to us showing the tractor-trailer engulfed in flames. This happened around 2:30 yesterday afternoon on I-95 heading south near Sharpsburg and Sandy Cross. Authorities say the truck driver died at the scene. We're told a woman driving the other car involved in the crash was taken to the hospital with a broken ankle. Witnesses say the tractor trailer was in the right lane when it suddenly veered left and into the car. Both went off the road before slamming into a line of trees.
Cleanup efforts continue today in Texas after a tornado tore through the small town of Laguna Heights near Brownsville. At least one person died in the storm early Saturday morning. Crews are working to repair downed power lines and clear debris. Also new this morning, a Florida girl is sharing her story of survival after being attacked by a shark. 13-year-old Ella Reed was in shallow water when the shark came at her. She says she believes it was a bull shark about 5 feet long. She describes how she was able to fight it off.
Got my stomach first, and I tried blocking it with my arm and my hand, and it kind of just slipped in and got my finger and my arm, and it like swooped around and got my leg again. It didn't really hurt in the first part because like all the adrenaline was just like, yeah, I don't know. We were so shocked.
She needed 19 stitches. She is doing fine. She says she went back to the beach less than 24 hours after it happened. And I just saw her make an appearance on Today with her mom, and she seems to be doing fine. She's in good spirits.
Yeah.
Talks about going back in the water again. You know, that's pretty amazing.
Which is amazing because me, after that, I'd be like, nope, sorry, not going back in there. So
weed it out a little bit. You know?
Yeah, just a little bit. But
Scary,
I'm glad
scary
she's okay.
scene.
Yeah. Well, if you have student loans, you'll soon have to start paying them back again. Payments have been suspended since March of 2020 because of COVID. The Education Department says it's preparing to restart those payments now that the emergency has been lifted. A report shows student loan providers will start collecting again in October. This all comes as the Biden administration's student loan forgiveness plan that's being challenged in court right now.
More than 67 million airbags could be recalled. They pose a safety risk for a crash, and a company says they want to. The company that makes them, I should say, is pushing back against this right now. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration wants airbag manufacturer ARC Automotive to recall the inflators. The agency says they could burst and release metal fragments. ARC is refusing to issue the recall, saying it happens too rarely to be considered a significant defect. The NHTSA acknowledges it is rare, but it has resulted in the death of at least one person.
Today, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is taking a big step toward announcing a run for president in 2024. NBC News reports DeSantis will move his political staff into a new base of operations. Because of the cost of the move, DeSantis will need to file candidacy paperwork with federal election officials within 15 days. This weekend, DeSantis made a surprise visit to Iowa, a key early state for presidential hopefuls.
I think Florida and Iowa are a source of hope. You know, we're going to have a chance pretty soon to make sure that's done in every state in this country.
And his visit to Iowa came as former President Donald Trump was forced to cancel a Saturday night rally there because of severe weather.
You might see smoke if you're driving along I-40 and 15501 near Chapel Hill today. The Chapel Hill Fire Department is doing a live burn on North White Oak Drive. It started at the top of the hour just about 20 minutes ago. It wraps up at 5 o'clock today. If you're sensitive to smoke, firefighters are asking you to plan to stay inside or avoid that area if possible.
And happening today, 12 local cities, towns, and counties are working together to make solar energy more accessible and more affordable. The coalition is launching a second campaign. We first told you about the Solarize the Triangle initiative last July. Communities raise money through crowdsourcing to make solar cheaper. The coalition is holding an event tonight at Highwire Brewing in Durham from 6 to 8. It's free for anyone to go and get their questions answered.
A ceremony tonight will celebrate the grand opening of new apartments in Pittsboro. The Guild Apartments are opening tonight at the Mosaic at Chatham Park Development. It's off of US 501, north of US 64. A new 12-foot interactive mosaic sculpture will also be unveiled at that ceremony. It all gets started at 4 o'clock this afternoon.
And tonight, the best of the internet will be honored in the annual Webby Awards. Douglas Hyde shows us what to expect in today's Hollywood Minute.
Half this room think I'm Kenan Thompson. Other half think I'm Louis Armstrong.
Comedian Roy Wood Jr. recently hosted the White House Correspondents' Dinner and is the MC for the Webby Awards in New York. The Webbies honor the year's best internet content, including podcasts, games, and social media. SZA, Lizzo, and Rihanna are among the 2023 winners, who are all limited to 5-word acceptance speeches.
We don't care how famous you are. You get 5 words to show your appreciation. You know, we've given awards to The Rock and Ava DuVernay and Miley Cyrus. And oddly enough, when you only have 5 words, you are very, very specific and intentional with what you want to say.
Why did this face come back? To say goodbye.
A new teaser trailer shows a past Doctor Who returning for more time-traveling adventures. David Tennant is reprising the role for 3 special episodes that'll help mark the classic British sci-fi show's 60th anniversary. They'll hit screens in November on the BBC and Disney+. In Hollywood, I'm Douglas Hyde.
A new plan to spend your tax dollars is expected to be unveiled today in North Carolina. And coming up, the one big topic this new state budget is hoping to address.
Plus, why several major airlines are cutting their flights starting today and how it could affect us right here in the Triangle.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good Monday morning. Time now is 8:26. I'm Michelle McConaughey with your top stories. And we are talking about the weather. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner looking towards tomorrow where we could see a level 1 risk here.
We are looking at a WRAL weather alert day. We have a level 1 risk shaded here in green. So it's our northwestern counties. Line of thunderstorms likely to come through starting at around 3 o'clock in our western counties and exiting by around 7 or 8 in our eastern counties. We're going to see the potential for some wind damage and some heavy rain with that. It's a nice start this morning. Look at the blue sky here over Apex. We're seeing a mix of sun and clouds across the area, but by lunchtime, it'll be fairly cloudy. Temperatures right now are in the upper 50s to low 60s, and we'll warm into the mid 70s for highs this afternoon. This afternoon, we do have the chance of a few isolated showers, Brian.
Here at 8:27, we are getting reports of a couple of crashes around Wake County, including one in the past couple of minutes at Lead Mine Road at Millbrook Road. Not really seeing big delays with that one just yet. On the north side of Durham, still tracking this crash at Duke Street near Carver Street. We are seeing some pretty heavy delays, especially on that northbound side of Duke Street heading up toward Carver from Murray Avenue. And reports of a crash on 40 westbound right around the Carytown Boulevard interchange. Seeing a little bit of a backup there between US 1 and Wade Avenue right now, about a 1-minute delay overall. If you can pick up 40 westbound from Chapel Hill Road, you'll be on the other side of those delays.
All right, thank you, Brian. The owners of well-known North Carolina businesses are meeting this morning to denounce a push to restrict abortions after 12 weeks. Governor Cooper vetoed the bill this weekend, but Republicans could start overturning it as soon as this week. And coming up next on Fox 50, what to expect as a new Las Vegas-style casino opens up today, just a short drive from the Triangle. And then ahead on today, sit-downs with Dolly Parton and John Cena.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number 1 source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Tomorrow is a WRAL weather alert day. We have a level 1 risk for severe storms in our north and western counties, but the line of thunderstorms will cross the entire viewing area. I'll show you when.
Local business owners are wading into the debate over abortion today as Republicans weigh overriding the governor and banning the procedure after 12 weeks.
A day of remembrance, reflecting on the young lives lost from gun violence in Durham this year. Just ahead, a look at what's happening today and how you can participate.
Getting our Monday rolling here at 8:30. Thanks for making us part of your day. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Yeah, a little cloudy as we start off our Monday morning. We are looking ahead to tomorrow. It's a WRAL weather alert day. But for now, we have a look over the DBAT meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. It's a nice day.
It is. We take a live look here at Durham. You can see a little bit of cloud cover there. We will see increasing clouds as we get closer to lunchtime. And by the evening, there could be a stray sprinkle or two. Right now, looking at 65 degrees across the Triangle area. So it feels pleasant as you're heading out. Still holding on to 58 in South Hill, but it's 65 in Goldsboro, it's 63 in Southern Pines, and 64 in Clinton. So feeling good out there. Mostly cloudy skies this afternoon. We'll climb into the mid-70s, and we do have a small chance of a shower this afternoon. It would just be isolated. Most of us won't see any of that. Again, we do have our level 1 risk for severe storms for tomorrow in our northwestern counties, mainly along and north of I-85, but we will see that band of thunderstorms crossing the entire viewing area. We're going to start off tomorrow morning with a few isolated showers that pop up. It's not going to be a whole lot of rain, and it will mostly be in our northern counties. But then here comes the band of rain. This is 3:45, 4 o'clock. You can see it coming through the western part of the viewing area. At 5 o'clock, stretched from Rocky Mount down toward Fayetteville, and by 7 o'clock, it's mainly over. But we could see another round starting around 10 or 11 o'clock, dropping southward across the viewing area. Hour by hour rain chances for tomorrow. Again, just a small chance of an isolated shower, mainly in the north up through lunchtime, and then we'll have that chance for scattered storms that could be strong to severe by the afternoon.
Today, business owners against the abortion bill will show their support of the governor's veto. As soon as this week, Republicans will look to cement that effort to have that bill become law. WRAL's Nia Harden is in Raleigh with how businesses are now getting involved in the fight.
Good morning. Yeah, at least a handful of businesses here in the Raleigh area are saying no when it comes to those abortion bill changes. Owners like Ashley Christensen and David Meeker from Trophy Brewing have launched a petition for businesses against Senate Bill 20. This morning, they will hold a news conference to talk about the economic impacts of the abortion restrictions. Over the weekend, Governor Cooper participated in a rally saying he rejected the bill. The veto was signed at the rally. The bill would reduce the cutoff for many abortions from 20 weeks to 12 and add several other restrictions. Supporters say the bill will save lives. Cooper calling the bill dangerous. State Republicans have a supermajority in the House and Senate. A vote to override the veto is expected to happen this week. And businesses will be here this morning at 10 o'clock at Trophy Brewing. Nia Harden, WRAL News in Raleigh.
And breaking news in the last 2 hours, we've learned the names of 2 people killed in an ATV crash in Raleigh. Police say 36-year-old Kevin Epps and 18-year-old Jaya Jackson were riding the ATV when they crashed into a car. They were not wearing safety helmets. The crash happened on Pool Road near Rush Street around 7 o'clock last night. Police say 24-year-old Taylor Williams, who was driving that car, was cited for failing to stop at a stop sign and 2 counts of misdemeanor death by the motor vehicle. And this morning, every student in Durham Public Schools will stop and take a moment to reflect on children who have died from gun violence. It's being called a Day of Remembrance. WRAL's Laura Levine shows us this new piece of a much larger effort.
I'm here in the heart of downtown Durham, where this very important message will be on full display today. A school board member tells me they want to show students impacted by gun violence there is a community who cares about them, who cares about change, and cares about protecting them. So at 10 o'clock this morning, they're calling on the community to take this moment of silence. 18 people under the age of 18 have been shot in Durham so far this year, and 4 of them have died. You're looking at Sky 5 video from the tragic shooting near Hillside High School earlier this year. City, county, and school leaders are coming together to show a commitment to safety and wellness. School board member Javanya Lewis organized this event with a goal to provide youth with more positive lifestyle opportunities, including job training, employment, and extracurricular activities.
Some people respond differently how we grieve and how we show up and what we feel like we need to show kids. To me, this will show the children our humanity and connection with them, that we're remembering those that are loved, that we're loved and are loved, and that they are loved, that we're taking the time out to center them in their voice.
And at 5:30 this afternoon, city and county leaders will gather here near the Bull in downtown Durham for speeches, spoken word by students, and a reading of a resolution. Laura Levine, WRAL News in Durham.
A Las Vegas-style casino just a short drive from the Triangle. It opens today. Flashing lights and screens of more than 700 slot machines are coming to Caesars, Virginia. It's just across the state line in Danville, about an hour-and-a-half drive from Raleigh. The casino opens inside a massive tent for now. Eventually, the casino will be part of a $650 million resort. It is expected to draw a lot of people from our area.
Kudos to Caesars Entertainment for making the decision to put this resort in Danville because of the draw across the state lines.
It is estimated about 30% of the traffic headed to the casino will come from the Triangle area. The resort is expected to open next year.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center, we want to take you to these live pictures out of Rehoboth Beach. This is in Delaware. That's Marine One waiting for President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden. They actually headed to Philadelphia this morning to attend the graduation of their granddaughter from the University of Pennsylvania. The first couple made a surprise trip to Philadelphia earlier this year to see their granddaughter's senior art show at Penn. That graduation is set for 10 o'clock this morning. The Bidens will be there for the majority of the day. They'll be back in Washington around 3 o'clock today. By the way, the keynote speaker for that graduation, Broadway star Idina Menzel.
Very exciting. Thank you, Ken. Breaking news, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is in London to discuss new support in the fight against Russia. Zelensky arrived just several hours ago and is meeting with Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. The UK plans to give Ukraine hundreds more air defense missiles and drones. This is Zelensky's second trip to Britain since Russia's invasion last year. And the trip comes one day after Zelensky made a surprise visit to France to meet with President Emmanuel Macron. France pledged additional military aid for Ukraine, including light tanks and armored vehicles. France will aim to train about 2,000 Ukrainian soldiers in France this year, along with nearly 4,000 others in Poland.
Today, North Carolina lawmakers are scheduled to roll out a new state budget proposal. One of the biggest topics is state employee pay. This year, there is a little more pressure because the state is struggling to hire people and keep them. State numbers show applications were down 43% last year compared to 2019. More than 1 in 3 people who go to work for state agencies leave after less than a year. Our state government team dug into the numbers and what state lawmakers might do about it. You can read that story online at nccapital.com.
And happening today, people in Wake County are invited to share their thoughts in person on the county's new proposed budget. Commissioners want to hear how you feel about the next steps. There are 2 happening today, 2 sessions. You can drop in at 2 p.m. at the Wake County Justice Center board chambers. But if that's too early for you, you can also stop by the Wake County Commons building. That session begins at 7 o'clock tonight.
Recession fears are growing this morning as the debt ceiling deadline looms. This is a live look at the U.S. Capitol here, as it will be a week of action in Washington. President Joe Biden is scheduled to meet with top congressional leaders tomorrow to discuss a way to move forward. This meeting was originally set for last Friday, but it was postponed. On Sunday, sources close to the matter said Biden had a productive meeting with his staff over the weekend about the U.S. debt ceiling. If a deal is not reached and the U.S. defaults on its debt, it could have a ripple effect on businesses, the housing market, even lead to job cuts.
Some major airlines will begin cutting flights today. United Airlines is reducing its number of routes from airports in New York, which could cause a ripple effect at other airports, including RDU. Delta and American are also planning to drop flights for the summer travel season. And this is happening because the FAA is facing a shortage of air traffic controllers. Coming up, the Carolina Hurricanes are headed to the next round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, but we still don't know exactly when. The reason for the delay in schedule is just ahead.
Plus, a big change to immigration policy isn't having the impact at the southern border some thought. What new numbers are revealing about the end of Title 42?
And we're watching the chance for storms in that new WRAL weather alert day for tomorrow. You're looking live at Sanford right now. A closer look at your 7-day forecast is next. Welcome back, 8:43 on your Monday morning. Check out this shot. This is Wrightsville Beach this morning. See the sun just glaring down on the ocean. There we go. There's another bright look for you right there. What a nice day to head to the beach. If you're going to head out, do it today instead of tomorrow. Tomorrow we are looking at the potential for some severe weather. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner has where we are seeing that level 1 risk.
So it's along and north of I-85 for the most part. It does stretch all the way down here into a corner of Chatham County, including Siler City. But for the most part, it's in our northwestern counties. But however, we are going to see this cold front front moving all the way across the viewing area, and pretty much everybody's going to see some piece of this line. The rain will be heavy. We'll see some gusty winds with this too, mid to late afternoon tomorrow. This is a look at tomorrow. This is a look at today. We're starting off with a mix of sun and clouds, but notice by lunchtime we begin to see some cloud cover, and mid to late afternoon an isolated shower could pop up. Most of us are not going to see any rain, but it's worth noting. You can see here just on and off a little shower that pops up on Futurecast. Now, once we get past midnight, we'll have a better chance. Tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., you can see some scattered showers, especially in our northern counties. We'll see that on and off all through the morning, and then eventually our line of thunderstorms take shape. This is 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so as we're getting into the evening commute, you're going to start to see this heavy rain crossing the area. Again, some gusty winds that could produce wind damage along with this. You can see at 5 o'clock it stretches from Rocky Mount back toward Fayetteville, and by 6 o'clock it's starting to exit the viewing area. By 7 or 8 o'clock it's over. But there could be another round that pops up between 10 and 11 o'clock and drops southward. But our best chance of severe storms would be, say, from 3 o'clock till around 8 o'clock in the evening. We take a live look at downtown Durham right now, and it's fairly cloudy in this view, but there are other parts of the viewing area seeing some sunshine right now. 65 degrees currently. We won't get that much warmer this afternoon. We're only going to climb into the mid-70s because those clouds will start to thicken up. 76 Raleigh, 75 Durham, 82 in Fayetteville. Those are our highs for today. Our normal high is at almost 80 degrees, and we'll be in the mid-80s tomorrow. We see a warm up ahead of the front because our winds will come out of the southwest. Behind the front, we're back to a northwesterly flow that's going to feel really nice. Temperatures will be mid-70s to near 80 with lots of sunshine and low humidity. Watch this nice drop. Tomorrow we'll be in the mid-60s, which feels tolerable to steamy. But after that, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we're back into the comfortable zone with some sunshine. It looks really nice. Then we get close to the weekend, and there are a couple of different scenarios that the models are putting out there. So we're kind of waiting to see when they come together. Hopefully by tomorrow, we'll have a little bit better idea of exactly when we'll see the showers. But right now, it looks like it would mainly be Saturday during the afternoon with a few scattered showers.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. Breaking overnight after 2 decades in power, Turkey's president faces a runoff challenge. Tayyip Erdogan got just over 49% of the vote in yesterday's election, not enough to secure a majority. The count wrapped up just a few hours ago. His main rival got about 45% of the vote. Erdogan says he welcomes the runoff, which will be on May 28th. Erdogan has been Turkey's prime minister since 2003 and has also been president since 2014. And there's also a political shakeup underway this morning in Thailand. Opposition parties won big in yesterday's election there. Experts say it's a clear call for change after 9 years under a former general who took power in a coup. However, the opposition parties still need to form a majority coalition, and that could mean compromise with the current ruling parties.
Closer to home, a North Carolina bride who was killed in a crash hours after her wedding is being remembered with a special memorial. Hundreds of surfers gathered on Folly Beach in South Carolina in her honor over the weekend. They were honoring Sam Hutchinson, the bride from Charlotte, who died just over 2 weeks ago when a drunk driver hit the golf cart she was riding. The driver who hit her is charged with reckless homicide and DUI involving death.
A local animal rescue group is cutting ties with a man accused of poisoning his neighbor's 3 dogs. James Goldston faces 3 counts of animal cruelty and communicating threats. So does his wife, Agnes. Both are currently free on bond. James Goldston supported the nonprofit Saving Grace NC, which his daughter founded. That group posted a statement on Facebook over the weekend. It reads in part, "We condemn all the forms of animal cruelty." Although he did not have any direct interaction with the dogs at Saving Grace, James Goldston has voluntarily resigned, effective immediately, to avoid any distraction from the important work of the organization.
We have new numbers this morning on how many migrants are coming across the southern border since Title 42 ended. Officials say the numbers are lower than expected. Officials say border agents had 6,300 encounters with people trying to cross on Friday. On Saturday, that number was about 4,200. Before the pandemic-era policy to restrict border crossings ended Thursday night, that number was about 10,000 per day. While the number may not be as large as expected, border communities say they're on high alert.
You may notice some striking blue lights along Western Boulevard in Raleigh this week. That's because the WRAL News Tower is lit up blue as part of National Police Week. There it is. More than a dozen other Raleigh locations are also joining in the blue salute. Today is National Peace Officers Memorial Day, which dates back to the early 60s. We remember Wake Sheriff's Deputy Ned Bird and Raleigh Police Officer Gabriel Torres, who were killed this past year. In the coming days, the Raleigh Police Department Foundation will host public events to honor law enforcement officers.
Starting today, work is happening to clear invasive plants from the Eno River. The Department of Environmental Quality is treating the river to get rid of hydrilla. It's a plant originally from Asia that somehow made its way here in the 1990s. It can hurt fish and other plants. The work to treat the river will continue through the end of August. Tonight, you can learn more about the plans for future parks in Johnston County. County officials will hold a public hearing tonight to talk about their master plan. Tonight's hearing is happening at 6 at the Johnston County Courthouse in Smithfield. The Board of Commissioners approved the plan last month.
Incentives and mandates are pushing more people toward electric vehicles. But how well would an EV work for your family? 5 on your side, hit the road to find out. Our team looked at how long it takes to charge, how easy it is to find a charger, and the problems that we ran into. Are we ready for an EV boom? 5 on your side digs into that question tonight, starting at 6 on WRAL. More than a dozen airports are trying out new tech to make trips safer, but it has some concerns about privacy. Lauren Blanchard shows us what you can expect if you run into this new technique being used by the TSA.
Your next journey through airport security could feel more like a photo shoot. That's because the Transportation Safety Administration is rolling out new facial recognition technology at a number of its checkpoints across the country.
What we are trying to do with this is aid the officers to actually determine that you are who you say you are.
Passengers start by scanning their license, ID card, or passport. A camera on the device then takes their photo, and the software does the rest, analyzing the images to ensure the person's picture on the scanner matches the one on their ID. The technology is currently being used in 16 airports, including ones in Atlanta, Boston, Dallas, Los Angeles, Miami, and more. But for those concerned about privacy, TSA says,
once all that photograph is taken and the match is made, your ID scan as well as your live photo is deleted upon match.
Still, privacy advocates are calling for measures to prevent the tool from being used for anything other than ID checks in the future. And while participation in the facial scans is optional,
people who decide not to use it make sure that they're not impacted negatively with extremely long lines or wait process to get through security checkpoint.
Meanwhile, with Memorial Day marking the unofficial start to summer, your odds of seeing a facial scanner in the coming months is high, with the U.S. Travel Association predicting leisure travel this summer will break records.
That was Lauren Blanchard reporting. And for now, RDU is not one of the airports using this tech, but TSA hopes to increase the amount of scanners at its checkpoints by the end of this year.
We will soon learn when the Carolina Hurricanes will begin their quest to win the Eastern Conference Championship. The Canes host the Florida Panthers in games 1 and 2 of that series later this week at PNC Arena. The NHL hasn't announced yet when those games will happen exactly. Right now, the league needs to see who will win the series between Seattle and Dallas tonight, so figure out the western side of things, get it all together. The Canes are looking to advance to the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time since they won it all in 2006. More than 50 small satellites are in orbit this morning. SpaceX launched a few hours ago, just after 1 o'clock.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff.
A Falcon 9 rocket topped with 56 satellites lifted off from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. The Falcon 9's first stage returned to Earth a little over 8 minutes after liftoff, touching down on the SpaceX drone ship out in the Atlantic Ocean. Meantime, the Falcon 9's upper stage continued, carrying those satellites to orbit. This launch was SpaceX's 29th Falcon 9 flight of the year.
Pretty cool. And for the first time in 13 years, Antiques Roadshow is coming back to Raleigh this week. You're looking at video from the last time the show stopped in the Triangle. That was 2010. The hit PBS series production tour will stop at North Carolina's Museum of Art tomorrow. Admission to the roadshow is free, but tickets are required. It'll air in 2024, marking the show's 28th season. Wow. And before we go to break, here are your winning lottery numbers. We'll get another check on weather and traffic next.